in our sport. We call him Toddzilla. What's up, Todd? How you doing today?
Hey, howdy, I'm doing well.
So we haven't seen much of you lately. I know we heard there was some sort of accident or something like that. So I just wanted to kind of find out what actually happened to you and all.
Let's see. The day before I was supposed to fly to Australia, I was riding an ATV and flipped her over backwards and it landed on my hand and landed on my stomach. And then we like wrestled and fought ourselves all the way to the bottom of the hill and ended up spending a couple of days in the hospital actually.
Damn, that's not fun, man. Any serious damage or anything
No,
like
the
that?
hand's mostly back. Most of the swelling's gone down in the hand and the stomach area is getting better.
Well, that's good to hear, brother. Glad that nothing broke or anything like that. But I mean, I'm sure you're built like titanium.
Yeah, nothing broke. They scanned me and x-rayed me and uh what do they do? Ultrasounded me and all kinds of stuff.
So do you think it's because you were set to pull Ryan Bowen? Because I'm hearing that he's got some sort of curse on any of his opponents that he's going against. It seems to be all kinds of crazy stuff happening to everybody.
Oh, I don't know. I've seen the delusional Ryan Bowen videos. I haven't seen the demonic ones. Maybe he's maybe he's possessed or something. He's like a witch.
There you go. He might have a Toddzilla doll over there and he's sticking needles in there or something like that.
Yeah.
So wanted to know, brother, a lot of people just want to know the basics about you and everything. Had a lot of questions asking what you do for a living, and you can let us know about that. And another question everybody says is want to know how do you are seem to be really into the numbers of your training and everything. Where does that come from?
Well, I'm an engineer and I'm currently the quality manager at Thermo Fisher. We build medical equipment and the numbers in my training stuff are all, and all comes from Westside Barbell because the Westside Barbell system is all about recording your strength and making sure you're getting stronger. So you don't know that if you're not keeping track of your max efforts. So, I write down what my max efforts are because I rotate them over so many exercises that I won't repeat them for months at a time. So, I can't remember what like my max side pressure is with a certain handle for 2 or 3 months. So I write everything down and I write down the volume and the speed day stuff as well in case my max effort numbers aren't going up. I can go back and see if I saw a trend somewhere else or, it just helps me dissect what my training is and how to adjust it because I change it constantly. The basic strategy stays the same, but the tactics vary almost continuously.
I got to say, brother, out of everybody in their training, you are definitely the most precise with the numbers. And I'm starting to think now that I hear that you're an engineer, maybe there's something with that is carrying over into arm wrestling.
Well, the more people who listen to me, the more people will get precise. So soon everybody will be training like this. So,
I agree. I had Toddzilla over at my house and we did a seminar and he was kind of teaching everybody and kind of showing his system. And I got to say, I took a lot from that day. It was an amazing seminar, one of the most informative that I've ever seen in arm wrestling. And if anybody ever gets a chance to get to attend one of his seminars, definitely worth it. Definitely a lot of info to pick up on. So I wanted to know what's up next for you, brother, because I know you've been healing up and kind of taking your time off, recovering your whole body because you went on this, I guess, like a year run of just almost every month you're pulling a major mega match and all. So what's next coming up?
the next definite match I have isn't until August, and that's in Toronto at Magna's event. I'm pulling John Brzenk, and there's a couple of people who've reached out with super matches and stuff in between now and then, but nothing's confirmed. The accident caused me to, cancel a match I had. I was supposed to go to East versus West, and of course I was in no shape to do that. So
What match were you supposed to have in East versus West?
I know, but I don't know if Engen posted it. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna, I mean, I know who it was, but I don't, if Engen didn't post it, I don't know if he wants me saying, because he could have said it. So I don't know if he posted it or if he canceled it. So I'm not gonna say.
That's understandable. I don't need you getting blocked or something like that.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you about the John Brzenk match. That is amazing match to have, and we all been waiting for this one. We also know that you used to train with John back in the day. Is this true?
Yeah,
Like,
for about 3 years.
wow. So what do you expect, man? Going against the GOAT of our sport.
Well, I'm watching his matches like everybody else does. And he seems to be pulling, his hand still looks formidable. His hand still looks, as good as it ever did. But I'm also seeing a lot of John pulling when he doesn't have all his hand too. So that's like a scary new dimension in his arsenal. So I'm expecting him to like completely dominate the hand. I think we'll be about equal on speed and overall power. It's John's a hard one to judge that way because he's so technical, he's so efficient. It's easy to underestimate just how strong he really is. So but I mean I'll have my power numbers up by then. So no, I expect it to be tough. I expect it to be really, really hard.
What did you get to see the Dennis Saplenkov match against John recently?
I have not seen that, but I wouldn't pull him like Dennis did anyways. But I did go. I mean, I know John lost because I saw headlines and stuff, but I haven't watched the match.
Wow, I would have thought you would be studying that already with you and your precision and all.
Yeah. I think I was in Florida when that happened. I think I was on vacation when that match happened. No. I was hurt because that happened when I was supposed to be in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I was in the hospital when that happened.
Wow. All right, so we'll give you a pass on that one. What's going on with training now? Have you been putting out any videos, or you plan on putting out your training videos leading up to this match?
I had been training because I went to Montana recently. Then I got hurt. So I was training up until I got hurt. Then I was off. So I just started back again this week. And of course, when you're off for a while, of course I was hurt. So I'm getting sore all the time, but I should be back to training full speed next week. Yeah, I'll probably do a couple more training videos. I got an update to which side of the table has a bias to it, and if the buckle matters, that sort of thing. I've updated that because I've been tracking all the East versus West matches. So I vlogged every match in East versus West 1 through 6. And I went and analyzed just John and Prudnick's matches. So when this video drops out, you'll see how they do when they're on the buckle side or the non-buckle side. So I think that'll be interesting to see, if the buckle's so important, how does it affect an individual arm wrestler as opposed to the entire population? So.
Wow, that's going to be an interesting one. I can't wait for you to drop that one. And to my subscribers, if you haven't already, get over to Todzilla's YouTube channel. I mean, he puts out all his training videos. This is a man you want to watch. If you're new into the sport, he teaches just amazing ways to get stronger. Like I said before, he's really crazy with the numbers. He tracks everything he does. You want to give a brief rundown of the schedule, like how you do? I know you got a strength day, you got a speed day. You want to just go over that real quick?
Yep. Monday mornings is always speed day for your arm. Wednesday mornings is always max effort day. And Friday mornings is always volume day. Saturday is usually volume on JM presses. Sundays would be like squats. And then the evenings are usually hand folk, any weak spots you got to pick up. For me, it's usually hands and like isometrics. So there's like I said, the basic strategy hasn't changed. And I think I've got 3 or 4 specific routines posted on the channel. But
okay, and the basics is the West Side barbell system. Is that?
Yep. If you're familiar with the West Side barbell system and Louis Simmons, you will be very familiar with how I train because I just lifted it all from their site. So.
And then the other thing that I really liked that I took from his seminar was these JM presses that he does. And he swears by it for recovering your elbows after your training, table training and all. And I've been incorporating it into my stuff, and I could just see my elbows are getting stronger. When you first do them, you feel like the weakest person there is because it's really awkward feeling and it doesn't feel comfortable. But then as you keep progressing, you get real strong, real quick with them. And your mobility, everything starts getting better with them.
Yeah, everybody should be doing JM presses. That's the quickest way to get through that elbow pain of the beginners. And it's the quickest way to push your numbers up on side pressure or any of your elbow-based movements. Because I haven't found anything that actually hits the tendons as thoroughly as that do. Plyometrics will get your tendons some, but it's more of plyometrics are more an abrupt shock to it, where the JM presses, you get a big stretch, a big contraction, and it works like both sides of the elbow. So they're very effective. Nobody should be complaining about elbow pain anymore. Everybody, that's the cure to elbow pain.
And the thing that I noticed with them is when I'm pulling, when I first started, when I'd go inside, I got these big ass forearms, but it felt like they were ready to explode. I'd get this like kind of pain, and I just didn't know what it was, and I could never really use my forearm. Well, I've been doing these JM presses for the last few months and everything. And just so you know, brother, I stopped completely training bodybuilding. I stopped, I think it was like 8 months ago, and I've been just everything I do is for arm wrestling now. And what I was about to say with those JM presses, now my forearm does not feel like it's going to explode. And when people just go hit into it, it's like hitting a wall now. And they all say something. They're all like, wow, your elbow integrity has definitely changed. And, I could feel it. So if you guys aren't doing JM presses already, make sure that's part of your routine. And how many times a week do you hit JM presses?
I'm doing them twice. I do at least 9 sets of 10 on Saturday over 3 grips. And then I'll do a really, really heavy day in the week now. I think it's tonight. I think it's Wednesday evenings. I have to look. Like I said, I move my program around a little bit every now, but I do a heavy JM press day. But I do Saturday mornings is like a huge, because I practice Friday nights. So Saturday mornings is a huge JM press day. Just trying to get up to, there I'm just calculating the volume. I don't have my workbook in front of me, but it's like 90 reps at like 200 pounds. So, I can do the math. So whatever 90 times 200 is, I always get the 90 times 200. So it's 18, the volume's 18,000. I'm trying to push that 18,000 number up weekly until it stops. And then I'll switch around and start pushing the volume number up again.
Wow. That's
Louis
impressive.
Simmons has a volume number for squatting that he says, if you squat like 500 pounds, this is the volume you do on the reverse hyper machine. And if you squat 800 pounds, this is it. So he has a chart. And we don't have anything like that in arm wrestling. And Ryan Espy had me on a podcast once, and we were talking about what would be the arm wrestling equipment of the reverse hyper. And at first I thought it'd be like a reverse curl or something like that. Now I'm kind of thinking it might be the JM press, for an inside puller. If you're a top roller, it still might be a reverse curl. But for a sideways puller like me, I think it would be like the JM press. So I'm trying to figure out what level of volume you need at each level of side pressure.
Now, what you said you're hitting legs and everything, and to an arm wrestler, it's almost against religion. But I wanted to ask you, do you really think that legs does it help you on the table at all, or as an arm wrestler, or it's just more of a day where you're not lifting on your arms, but you're still hitting the gym?
Now, I've read this a lot, but I'll be honest, I've read it mostly in bodybuilding magazines, where they say if you started your workouts out with squatting or deadlifting, it hits such the big muscle groups, it like triggers your central nervous system to start building muscles, whatever signals it sends to build muscles. So if you squatted heavy and then trained arms, it would benefit your arm training. I don't know about that because we hit so much volume on our arms anyways. I'm not worried about getting big there, but I haven't found anything to simulate you can't simulate a competition match in practice because nobody cares that much about it. So they'll give up long before they get hurt. But when you're in a big match and you absolutely positively cannot give up, I don't know how to simulate that mental toll or that concentration you need other than max deadlifting and max squatting. I mean, that's just putting yourself at red line. And my squat numbers and my deadlift numbers are terrible. I got Facebook feeds with women, lifting way more weight than I do. I gave up that a long time ago. But I do know when you're tied up in an ugly position and you're absolutely positively trying not to give up, a max deadlift gives you that feeling. So to me, it's mostly, it's just building like toughness or that country boy power that those guys have, or that stuff that old men get. I don't know, but it's, to me, deadlifting and heavy squatting are like almost perfect exercises. So when I train people on the side, not just, if they don't want to train specifically for arm wrestling, but usually it's like weight loss or to get fit. There's always at least one squat day and one deadlift day in the week, or 2 squats or something like that. But there's always heavy muscle lifting, especially for women. I think women need to train heavier than they do. I think too many women grab the little tiny dumbbells and then just, and the volume they do is just crazy. I mean, it's like 5 sets of 20 or, 5 sets of 30. And it's like, egads, man, let's deadlift. Let's deadlift like 6 times, and that'll usually work them harder than like 3 days of training did, with their Fit for Life, CrossFit program.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I do 2 days of legs, and the only reason why I do that, me, I'm obsessed with training and all, and otherwise I'm going to be hitting 7 days on my arms and my upper body, and so I use it usually right after I do table day. I'll hit legs or whatever, and then just hit band work on that day on my arms. But it's more of me just being able to go to the gym and work out and give my upper body a rest. So that's why I incorporate the legs into the whole routine and all. All right, now moving on, brother. I want to get your opinion on the top 5 in North America currently.
The top 5 in North America. So that includes Canada.
Everybody, yep, all North America. This is kind of a tricky question these days because a lot of these guys don't really haven't pulled each other in 3 to 5 years. So this is kind of
5 shouldn't be too hard. You can't have any list of arm wrestlers without putting John in it. So put him wherever you want.
Okay.
Obviously Devin, obviously Jerry, because those two are at the top of their respective in the East versus West has crowned both of them. So then what are we talking about? We got to round it out with either Dave Chafee or Derek Smith or who else is up and coming? Who else?
Well, we really can't say Derek Smith right now because Derek just lost to Austin Jaggers right hand.
Okay, so Austin Jag. So probably Michael Todd.
Well, we can't put Michael Toddler in there anymore because he hurt his right arm and he's out for a year at least.
For a year?
I mean, he's got a lot of stuff.
How do you get hurt for a year?
Well, he popped his bicep and then he had a bunch of stuff taken out of his elbow. And also, I mean, the time he recovers, that's going to be a long recovery he's got until he's at 100%.
A year seems completely, you can't listen to doctors. Doctors don't know shit about training arms. I think a bicep tear is recommended 9 to 10 months too. And, most of us do it in 5 to 6. So, all right. So then it gets harder if you take Michael Todd out. What do I got? 2 slots to fill?
Yeah, and what about you, bro? You don't have you up in the top 5?
All right, put me in the top 5. And
because you remember, I would got to say, Corey West. Lately? What about Corey West?
Or Corey West? There you go. All
right, so let's
basically makes itself. Even if you took me out,
let's lock it all in now. I want to hear places though. I want to put you on the spot, and I want to hear exactly who do you have at number 1.
Oh, I would put Jerry and Devin in the top tier and everybody else is in the second tier. So you can put 3 through 5 in any order you want.
Yeah,
because I
but what
don't.
about Dave? You don't have Dave in the same tier as Jerry and Devin?
Dave Chafee, I think Dave's a I like him a lot. I think Jerry's performed in East versus West better than Dave has, you know. And I think until Dave, beats Devin at least twice in not two matches, but two super matches. Boy, so it's Devin and Jerry for sure. Then the very top of the next tier is Dave Chafee, and then there's the other two people at the bottom, whoever that is.
Okay, so we got possibly, you're saying could be John, you, Corey.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
what do you
That's
think?
6 people for the top 5.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean you could,
So you
on
can
a
take
different
me out because that's biased. So we'll put John and Corey in there. They can round out the top 5. So
okay, that's fair right there. I agree with that.
yeah.
And we might get to see Dave against Devin real soon, because I just had Devin on my podcast and we were talking, and yeah, there's talks going on. A bunch of people want it to happen. And I think after this Gennady match, as long as Devin gets the win, I think we could see Dave Chafee pulling Devin and ironing out where they sit in North America.
Where who's promoting that?
He wouldn't say, he didn't give all that info, but I think there's a couple of people that are, in talks with them right now. And I know there's some offers on the table and both guys are very interested.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
That'd be good. Dave needs another shot. Dave needs another shot at Devin.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see a lot more action in North America. I'm going to try getting some action going. I want to iron out the top 10, because we all been going across the seas and going against the other guys. But I think we need to get some action back here and start figuring out where everybody lies on the top 10 rankings here.
So then you give me 6 or 7 top contenders out of your top 10. If you had your top 10 tournament, who do you think places in the top 6 or 7?
Okay. Well, we definitely got to get, I would say, Tim Bresnan in there. We got to say Austin Jaggers, Corey West, Derek Smith, possibly Chance Shaw.
This is your top 6 or 7. You just
No. I'm going to say the top 10, man, because when
okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to say,
I'm going to say in the
put
top
any
10.
of my guys in the top 5 yet.
Yeah, no, I agree with all your guys as the top 5, but then right after them, that's the pool of guys that we got to iron out for the top 10. And this is somebody that I'm going to throw in there as possibly the gatekeeper from what I'm hearing from everybody else, including John Berzink and Devin and all. And that's Larry Wheels. Larry Wheels is making some moves, and they think that he's possibly like number 11 right now, and he could be knocking at the door on the top 10 very, very soon. What do you think about that?
Well, I definitely see he's improving, but isn't he basically wouldn't he be in the top 5 of Dubai? Or does he actually live in America now?
He lives in America now, bro. He's in Cali.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah, you haven't been around, man. A lot of things are changing. Him and Adam Silver moved over to California. He's making appearances. He was just this past weekend. He was at San Diego.
Larry Wheels is number 11, and you got Austin Jaggers in the top 10. What about Wayne Withers, who beat Austin Jaggers?
That's a good question.
Event you were at.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I definitely know that. But yeah, that's a good question, bro. That's another person that
I know Austin Jaggers, and he's tough.
He's definitely leveled up though in the last year, bro. He's definitely went another level up. Didn't Wayne hurt himself maybe a few months back or something?
All arm wrestlers are hurt at some point in time. All arm wrestlers lie about how hurt they are and how strong they are and how much they weigh. So you can't believe any of that stuff when an arm wrestler says. Okay, none of that's true, no matter what they say.
The other thing they lie about a lot is when they actually started arm wrestling.
So you've only got one Canadian in your top 10 North America.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, who else would you put in there at a Canada?
Hmm.
'Cause I don't see Matt Mask hasn't been doing too well lately, so can't put him up there. Isn't Ryan Espy's more of a left-hand puller?
Yeah, I mean, he's got two hands, but okay.
Do you agree with that? Who do you have in the top 10?
I don't know. I'd have to sit and think about it. But I mean, everybody you've mentioned is definitely good and accomplished. I'm
What
just
do you
trying to
think?
think of.
What do you think of Chance Shaw? Do you think he's getting up there where he's starting to pass guys and all? And how do you think of Austin Jaggers against Chance Shaw goes?
Hmm. Has Chance Shaw pulled any of those other guys
Just in,
besides me?
I think we've seen like
He's pulled
practice.
John and me. Has he pulled any other North American guy on your list?
I think he's pulled them in practice polls. You
Yeah, that
know,
don't count.
yeah, I know. But
Um,
I keep being people keep asking to see
Austin
forward.
versus Chance. Well, now it depends. If I got to practice and talk to Austin 3 or 4, if I had 4 or 5 months to get Austin ready, I would bet on Austin beating Chance.
Okay. Yeah, that would be a good one. I think we've seen them pull at the after pull right at that Wayne Withers and Austin Jaggers match.
Yeah.
They pulled a little, and well, Austin was a little tired, and all Chance was fresh, but Chance definitely had the better of him in the after pull. But then left hand, Austin went right through him.
Yeah,
But
because I thought Derek Smith was going to beat Austin Jaggers, you
yeah,
know. And like I said, I know the guy and he's been over to the house a couple of times. So I know him quite well. I just thought, so either Austin's way above where I thought he was, or Derek's way below where I thought he was. I mean, I completely flubbed that prediction.
I got to say this. Austin Jaggers, I threw that big match in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it was Austin Jaggers versus Lachlan Adair, and Lachlan beat him, went inside with the hook. From that, Austin really started working on his hook, and he really started focusing, and it seemed like it's working because he looks like a whole different person these days. And we'll get to see him this weekend. He's got a big match at Armwars, so that's
Who
going
is
to
he
be
pulling in Armwars?
I think it was is it Mindagis or I don't know. It's one of the guy's a monster. I seen I can't remember his name, but I think it was Mindagis or something like that.
Hmm. Yeah, it would be tough to be a hooker in that super heavyweight class because everybody else top rolls. So
Yeah.
including Chance. So yeah, that would be interesting.
Well, I keep getting asked by a couple guys want to see me put a four-way on. We did that fatal four-way in Oklahoma and everything. I think it was Mike Aiello, Chance Shaw. Who else did we have in there? Anyways, they keep asking. They want to see Corey West, Chance Shaw, Derek Smith, and Austin Jaggers in a four-way. I would love to see that happen. Let's see if we can make something like that happen and kind of iron out where everybody sits on the totem pole.
I think you could put Corey West on the table and just play king of the table with that matchup. But doesn't Chance Shaw run the rankings? We shouldn't be here debating who's top what. Doesn't Chance Shaw run the rankings?
Yeah, he does
Just
in the
ask
hook.
him to give you 13 names because you'd probably need some alternates, the way arm wrestlers lie about whether they're hurt or whether how busy they are.
Yeah.
So,
And you know what it is? It's real hard to get everybody to pull each other in North America. I know for a while I was on a mission to make Chance go against Corey West or Derek Smith, and it just, is very hard. Corey seemed like he wanted to pull everybody. Corey was down to pull everybody. And I got
yeah,
to
I can't
say,
believe Corey's hard to set up with anybody.
yeah, I think he would be the favorite by far in that one for sure.
Yeah, he's a good kid. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, he's an animal, man. He's down to pull everything. And that match that you against Corey West in Lindale, Texas, that was crazy, bro. That first round, I was like, holy shit, I thought you were in some problems. And then what happened?
He dumped me.
Well, you know what happened? He went from Todd Hutchings to Toddzilla. From round one to round two, we seen a whole nother person come out, and the beast came out in you. And holy shit, bro, that was an exciting time to be a fan there. The whole crowd went crazy. You stepped it up that day, bro. What was it like pulling him? And right before they broke our scale, remember that? He went to go weigh in and wouldn't
Yeah.
even weigh him. It was 440 plus.
Yeah, he's got a very small, he's got his thumb short for how big his hand was. And I have trouble with the tall folks anyways, because they got that ability to crush down on me. But it was yeah, just a small change. And I think I got him someplace because he's probably used to pulling a lot bigger guys. So it's just as awkward for a big guy to pull me as it is for me to pull a big guy, except I have more experience pulling big guys than big guys have experience pulling little guys. So basically, the bigger the guy, the more they are the underdog against me. So I'm just the favorite then. So,
How much did you weigh that day in Lindale? I didn't even remember that.
I was like 215, 220.
God damn. So he literally was double your weight and everything.
If me and RVJ got on a scale, Corey weighed more than us. So,
that is impressive, bro. Then I remember, didn't you pull, was it Wayne Withers? You pulled in TAL in Idaho. That was like 2 years ago.
I pulled Wayne Withers here in Ohio at Todd Jackson's tournament.
Okay. And
Gus's Outback. If you're ever in Ohio and you want to go see, that's where Dave Chafee and Wayne Withers had a super match.
Okay.
So
who did you pull that day? Weren't you in Idaho?
I pulled Don Underwood. We pulled right-handed
on the left-hand pad.
Set up left-handed.
I remember that, bro. That's why I remember that. Okay, yeah, because I remember after it looked weird.
Neither one of us or the two refs noticed. Yep. I didn't even notice until somebody commented on like the picture or something. They go, "Isn't that table set up left-handed?"
That is crazy, bro. So how did it go with you and Wayne Withers? How was that?
What I did the first time I slipped out on him and I was able to beat him in the straps. And then the second time he was expecting me to slip out. And instead I just grabbed a hold of his fingers and pulled him down. So I kind of cheated him on the second match. But like I said, the bigger they are, the more they are the underdog. But yeah, come to Gus's Outback sometime and go to one of our tournaments. Dave Chafee brought his wife, and she was so appalled of our local flavor that they left early, and I don't think they'll ever come back.
Oh my God! Wow. So I
got to ask you, got in a fight and like cleared the bar, in the middle of the tournament.
I got to ask you, bro. So how does a Ryan Bowen against you go? Because now you say you're the giant killer, but what if they're close to your size now? Is that going to present a problem for you?
That would be odd for me, but I'm still a top middleweight.
Yeah. So how would that go with you and Ryan? Do you expect to dominantly beat him, or would it be a war?
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm like 1,000,000 to 1 favorite against Ryan Bowen. That match only came up because other people dropped out, and I'm real easy to set up a match. If my weekend's free and you got the money, I'll be there. I don't have to know who the opponent is or anything like that. And me and Ryan, we go way back. So it was, I think he was just looking for somebody with, I guess, with some recognition. I actually recommended he call somebody else, but I think he was busy at the time. Or I mean, because I accepted it a month or so before the match actually happened, but.
That's what I love about you, bro. You're always down to pull. You're very easy to work with, where a lot of the other guys, it's not so easy. It's, they want, months ahead, and then they want to, I don't know. It's not an easy process with you. You're always there. You get the phone call. Like you said, if you're free that weekend, you're ready. Let's go. I like that about you, bro. Shows your confidence. So
I'm a professional arm wrestler. I'm paid to arm wrestle. It don't make no sense to turn offers down if you don't have any. Then you're an out of work arm wrestler. I'd just rather be a professional arm wrestler.
You know what it is? A lot of guys got the ego factor going on, and they like to know that they're gonna win, to take a match, and it's kind of frustrating as a promoter and all that.
You got to adopt a philosophy of excellence over victory. It makes your whole life easier.
There you go. So there's a big controversy going on in the whole arm wrestling community. It's kind of like a civil war going on right now.
Is it about novice classes?
No, it's actually about live commentary going on during the pay-per-view events. Just to catch you up, Engin Terzi made a post, I think it was about a week and a half ago, saying that he didn't want nobody else, none of the YouTubers doing their own live commentary over the pay-per-view events. And that kind of just put everybody, all the YouTuber guys were, outraged by this. And, it's been the big debate going on. Everybody's taking sides, all the athletes are going with Engin, where, all the YouTubers, and I'd say majority of the fans are going with the YouTube guys. So I wanted to just get your take on the whole thing. Do you think it's something that helps the sport grow, or is it something that's setting us back?
First, I hate it when people say I'm helping the sport grow by not investing anything. And I don't know who they're actually growing the sport to when their audience is primary arm wrestlers. But I think Engin's got a point. I mean, it's Engin's event. I don't think other people should be commentating, trying to draw Engin's audience away from his event. It might very well be legal, but we're all family and friends. So I think if Engin and all these YouTubers know Engin. So I'm pretty sure if Engin asked and your response is, well, this is legal, I just don't think that's righteous. I think if you want to grow the sport, have events of your own, actually grow it like Engin did. But yeah, I think he's right. I mean, there's everybody's trying to make money at this sport. I don't think it's right to, leech off of what Engin's doing. So I think if Engin asks you not to do the and I don't think the UFC would stand for that.
Actually, they did in the beginning. They allow all that to go down.
Because I remember when I didn't have when the UFC was on TV, but I couldn't afford the pay-per-view, I could get on the internet or other stuff, but it was like after the event. It wasn't during the event, and even then they would give you the scores and a written write-up and then a few pictures. But yeah, to take Engin's event and do like the radio broadcast of it without being affiliated with Engin. Now, I think there's a way around it. Engin doesn't think of himself as a capitalist. Although he is, I don't think he likes the association of being a capitalist. But I think Engin should just embrace capitalism and license a couple of YouTubers to do it. Say pick a couple of people. You want to do a live commentary on my event? I'm gonna license 2 or 3 people. But you don't get to, sell Engin's event to your 20,000 subscribers and make money off it without making capitalism work. So I think Engin sells 3 or 4 licenses. And I think if you're going to, Engin's, because when I went through all the East versus West matches, a lot of Engin's just raw footage, not even the edited one, has like hundreds of thousands of views. So Engin's got a marketable product. I think but my YouTube channel ain't nowhere near as what there is. But just as an example, I think Engin could say, all right, Concrete Elbow, which is the absolute worst name for an arm wrestler. And we'll circle back to that. But I know he's got like a lot of big view videos because I see him all the time. Okay, Concrete Video, you can be one of the people that does a live commentary in my event. But in order to do that, you pay me $3,000. All right. That way Engin makes a little, they sell it. If you're truly growing the sport, well, you don't get to grow crops without buying seeds and fertilizers. So that's the investment that person puts in. But we got to get Engin to embrace capitalism. Okay, so we got to get him to like really turn this into something, because he just took off when the WAL went away, and had the WAL saw what Engin saw, we might be still pulling all these big events in America. So anyways, that's my take on it. But
I also I hit up Engin the other day, and I actually said to him, I said, instead of taking it personal with these other guys, with the YouTubers and all, I was like, go off the numbers, be a businessman. So go do your own experiment. Go throw the same caliber event, get Devin involved and do one with the live commentary, study the numbers, then do the next one without the live commentary, study the numbers, let the numbers tell the story, because that's what we're trying to figure out here.
Well, how does the live commentary benefit Engen?
Because what they're saying is that they're getting guys that would never have bought the pay-per-view listening and get into the sport, where they might come now to the next event and they might actually buy the pay-per-view, or,
that sounds like wish casting. What I would say is, you pay me $3,000 to do the live commentary, and then we'll see if it's worth either one of our while. But, if that might be true, but then it's not up to Engen to prove their marketing plan. It's up to me to prove that marketing plan to Engen. It's not like, Engen, let me keep running the commentary on your event, where I don't pay you anything, and then you figure out whether or not it goes up. Or I say, look, I will benefit you this way. It should behoove me to show up with the data and the facts and a presentation.
Yeah, I kind of like that. You gave a solution there where everybody's just kind of picking sides and all. And that is definitely one of the ways they could go about it. The other one that I've heard is, charge an audio commentary membership. Like you charge, instead of the $14.99 or whatever the East versus West pay-per-view is now, just do like a $3 to $5 charge, and you get to hear the audio commentary. This way that Engen and them are making money, because I understand where Engen's coming from. When you're putting up 175,000 to $250,000 for an event, yeah, man, it's got to be a lot of stress, and you want to make sure you're maximizing all your monetary intake and all that. So I completely understand where Engen's going with this. But what everybody else is saying is that they're drawing people that would never have bought the pay-per-view into it, like non-arm wrestlers that are coming fans through listening to audio and all that. So I kind of could understand, because if you look at these guys, they're doing 3,000 to 5,000 people listening during this event. And their whole claim is that these people would never have bought the pay-per-view. And they're also that day getting some of these guys to buy the pay-per-view by every 10 minutes. They're talking like, all right, now get over to the pay-per-view and make sure to order the pay-per-view and all that. So, that's their whole side. They're saying they're helping out.
Well, there's two sides of it, right? There's Engen saying, you're taking my viewers from me on my event that I put together all by myself with no help from anybody else. And the other side is, I'm going to make money off your event, but it does help you.
Yeah.
So as a capitalist, I think it's up to Engen to do what he wants. Now, can he stop the other people? I don't know. I mean, maybe you can block it, but I like the ideas. If Engen put the audio out there, hell, right now, Engen's not getting anything for the live commentary. Engen could probably shoot these leeches down, smush them up into a little paste if he just put the audio commentary out there for free. Because that's basically what these other people are doing, is they're taking it from him and they're not giving him anything back. So
how about this? What if they take the camera and they just put it right on the commentary? Say you put on Travis and Coach Ray, facing them and having them put that out there, and just charge a small fee, $2-3. You could, instead of watching it, now you could listen to the actual commentators just commentating. That's another way.
Put it out there for a nominal fee. Put it out there as an audio, like a podcast or something. Yeah, I mean, Engen just needs to get a good. There's probably somebody like Adam Silver. There's probably a promotions type guy that could advise Engen on this stuff. But I think if it was me, as vengeful as I am, I'm saying these guys are selling this shit already, and I'm not getting anything. I just put my commentary out for free, and I would much rather listen to Neil Pickup and Travis do the commentary on the event than somebody who's sitting in his basement just jibber jabbering away with it. So,
but the one thing I got to say though is Pradeep put out the numbers, and what they're making for doing 8 hours of work. I mean, I think it comes out to maybe $10 an hour. So I mean, they're not really making anything off the, the commentary at all. It's more of them just putting in their time. But, $10 an hour, it's literally like a minimum wage job or even under minimum wage.
Oh, it is. And I like Pradeep. I like his show a lot. And I go to it when I need to hear the results. But, to me, if Engen doesn't like it, it's, if you're taking the pennies out of my penny jar, you can't justify it by saying, well, I can't live on the money I'm stealing from you.
I want to give another example of where I was having a problem with all this. And, I would pay, these videographers to come to my events, and, we'd want to make an edited version. So what we did was we put the camera all the way back so you couldn't get like a real good view of the live feed, thinking that it'll give me time, the guy to go home, to edit it all up, get it out the next day. Well, what they were doing was zooming in then and putting that out literally 5 minutes after my match. So, I'm paying all this money. I put up 20,000 for an event. And then these guys 5 minutes later would put it out, and it would drive me nuts. And I'd hit them up and be like, yo, can you please not do that? And, oh, well, this is fair use and all that. So, I mean, I have experienced similar things like that. And I'm only putting up 20 grand for my event. I couldn't imagine I'm putting up $250,000 and these guys are doing stuff like that. I mean, that would just drive me nuts right there.
First, fair use is a defense. It's not a claim. You don't get to claim fair use and do what you want. You argue fair use when you are being sued. So, fair use doesn't come before you steal my shit. It comes after you stole it and I want my money back. But no, it's rough with the cameras. I always wondered if you could, I don't know, block people from it, or I don't know. But it shouldn't come to that in arm wrestling yet. You know what I'm saying? All these people saying, I'm growing the sport. Well, that sounds like you're trying to help us all out. So stop helping us all out by taking from the people that are doing the hard work,
Yes.
And
I definitely agree with that.
And if I go swimming in the river and I come out with leeches on my arms, I don't want the leeches on my arms. It's not the fact that the leech is going to take so much blood that's going to affect my life. It's my blood, Now, leech, I will give you some money, but give you some blood, but you have to pay me for my blood. The Red Cross gives me soda and cookies. All right. Even they pay for your blood. They don't pay a lot, but they pay,
That was a good analogy. I like that one. So let's move on now. There's a bunch of East versus West matches coming up that I kind of just want to get your predictions on. And one of those being, we got RVJ making his comeback, and he's going to be pulling Zurup. And I call this match the Battle of the Biceps. I mean, both of these guys got mountains of biceps. So I know you pulled Zurup before. Have you pulled
I've never
RVJ?
pulled Zurup.
Oh, no, you haven't. Okay. I get mixed up. Okay. What do you think? Have you pulled RVJ?
The last time I pulled RVJ was years ago. And it was when he was getting ready to go pull Sasho Andreev and Neil Pickup's event. And I had RVJ as a heavy favorite in that. And I thought RVJ would be able to pronate out of Sasho and pull that off. He didn't, but it could have been, that might have also been the first time RVJ's ever left the country. And there's a lot of crap you got to deal with. Zurab is going to be a whole lot harder than Sasho. I mean, watching Zurab pull John's hand's probably way better than RVJ's is right now, just because he hasn't competed in a while. So I think Zurab is a far tougher match for RVJ than what Sasho was. But with that said, I have no idea what kind of shape RVJ is in. He might be top rolling Jerry Catarat 3 and 4 times a night for all I know. I don't have a clue on what kind of shape RVJ's in. And that Sasho match was years ago. I mean, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. So, or a year ago. I don't know.
I think it was a year and a half back.
Yeah. So
now the only thing I got to say with that context, I think that RVJ wasn't really in prime RVJ mode. he was kind of in party mode and just kind of coming off the couch with that for what I got out of that. The one thing I got to say is I've been talking to RVJ a lot. He just started going over to Jerry's practices weekly. I think they'll be over there tonight. They'll be getting a workout in together. But it seems like he seems focused. He's not drinking. He's really seems like he wants to come back and really show what he can do. So, I don't know if he's going to have enough time to get ready for a guy like Zurup, because this guy has been, nonstop pulling East versus West, high caliber opponents. And the guy that I was mixing up where I thought you pulled him, I think it was the Ron Bath match, Ron Bath versus Zurup, which that was an amazing war. Do you remember that one?
Yep. And, well, I'll hand it to him. Zurab's a tough match to try to make your comeback on. I mean, that seems like a big first step, but if anybody can do it, he probably can.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next match. So do you have Zurup winning that?
I think Zurab is the favorite by quite a bit. In that match, I'd rather be Zurab than RVJ. Even seeing the trouble Chance had. Now, Chance won, and it was decisively, but Chance's hand is just absolute. I think Chance probably has a better hand than Chance has a better hand when I pulled him than what RVJ had the last time I pulled RVJ. Now, I have no idea what shape they're in now, but and even that,
which that's pretty crazy to hear, bro, because RVJ's always been the grip master. He's the guy that's setting a lot of records back in the day with grip and all. Wow, Chance, man, you got to have a strong hand to get that. That's pretty impressive to hear about Chance. Now, moving on to the next match that I want to talk about, and that's Angabayev versus Irakli.
Angabayev versus Irakli.
This kid Angabayev, he really impresses me a lot. I mean, he's such a technical arm wrestler. He stays so calm. When he pulled Monster Michael Toddler, that was just so impressive to me. Toddler was going nuts and screaming and
and they're both basically top rollers. Well, we know Irakli can press.
Yeah. Which he did against John Brzenk, which, I don't think many people were expecting that day.
Yeah. Against John Brzenk, he pulled it out his hand. I got the utmost respect for Angabayev. I really do. But I think if I had to, I think Irakli's the favorite in that.
Okay.
But now I'll say that, and then I'll go on YouTube or something and find out that they've pulled 15 times and Angabayev won every single one of them. So I have no idea. I don't track a lot of people who don't have an American zip code. So
have you any experience pulling? Have you ever gripped up with these guys at all?
I pulled Irakli.
You did pull it. How did that turn out? You're funny, brother.
It turned out really well, Paul.
You know what it is, man? There's so many matches with these East versus West. There's like 15
I've
to
never
20
pulled
on each card. I get a little mixed up, I get all mixed up who pulled who, and I forget which one did you pull Irakli? What East versus West was that?
Maybe 3.
Okay.
Or 2.
What was the score on that?
I think I beat him 3-0.
Look at this, bro. You don't even remember what it was. You pulled so many matches in East versus West.
I know I did well. And I should know because I just went through all these stupid matches recording, which side of the table won, whether it was a ref grip, whether it was a strap match, but I'm pretty sure I won 3-0.
See, that makes it interesting because he just beat John. You beat Irakli. Now we got you guys pulling in August. Oh, man. What's your hold on? We'll go back to the Angabayev versus Irakli, but what's your prediction against John? What do you think the ending score is, and who gets the win?
I think it's probably a blowout either way. I mean, I think it's best of 5, so I think it's 3-0 or 3-1 either way. John's obviously the favorite. I can see John winning several different ways, and I can see me winning one way, maybe one and a half ways. I got like a very narrow window I can crawl through, where John's got a huge gate he can walk through. So, um, so depending on how it went, I think it'll be a blowout or it'll be very lopsided either way. But
Now, are you going to change anything because you used to train with John, so he kind of knows your style and all? Are you going to change something up?
sort of, but John's changed the way he's pulling too. So the John that I trained with, never pinned anybody doing anything like that. So
Is there anything? Is it because of his shoulder? Because I know he's been going through the shoulder issues and all that. Is that why he's changing up?
it could be, it could be any number of things. He might just be getting strong. He might have developed some more elbow power that he never felt comfortable with. So, I mean, if the stronger your elbows are, the less important your hand becomes.
Okay. Now let's get back because I don't want to lose focus on the Ongabaya versus Rockley. What do you think the final score is on that, and who gets it?
I don't think it's close. I think it's lopsided, and I think Irakli wins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, next match that I want to talk about, this is a big one, is Devin Lorette versus Gennady. What do you think about that?
I think that Devin wins that fairly easily.
Wow, easily, huh? Even with the power and explosion that Gennady comes with.
Devin is something else. I mean, Gennady's tough, right? I fully respect him, but I think Devin is something else. Yeah, I think I think Devin is I think Devin is right now at the beginning of a pretty impressive streak that lasts him for a while. Yeah. I don't think you see Devin take a major loss for a while.
I gave him a nickname last time we were on the podcast, and I was like, "Can we say that you went from Master Devin Lorette to now Grandmaster?" And yeah, he agreed with that because we were talking about the Dave Chafee match back in 2017, and I said, "What do you think today when you have your Dave Chafee match?" And he said that he's gonna dominate him, and I was like, "All right, well, what's the difference? Can we say that you?" He said that he is now 100% in arm wrestling. Then he was still working. He was just coming to the end of his career, and now he could really focus. So I was like, let's put this in terms, brother. Can we say that you went from master to grandmaster, just kind of like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu, analogy. And he agreed with that.
Yeah.
The other thing that it's been with Devin is he's been taking this stem cell therapy, and he swears by this. He keeps talking about it. He keeps going and getting these treatments. What do you think about this stem cell therapy? Have you ever looked into it?
Now, isn't it to like repair damage or injuries or something?
Yeah, it's anything that you have a problem with. For once, he was supposed to go against Prunick, and it was 5 weeks out from the match, and he was having some extreme pains in the hand. He had arthritis, whatever. He went and got this stem cell therapy, got a shot in his hand. Literally, I think it was a week and a half later, he was 100% healed. He felt like a new person, where he said normally it would take him 4 months to heal something like that. And then
4 months. Arm wrestlers lie. But no, I don't have any injuries or pain, so I don't see myself pursuing stem cells because I don't have the symptoms that would.
Yeah, because you do a thing called JM presses.
That's probably it. It might be training, but no, I can't. First, 4 months seems like an incredibly long. I did both my bicep tears. I rehabbed in less than 6 months, and that's like winning a tournament. But no, I don't have any.
And it wasn't a bicep tear you had. You had the actual surgery. It was disconnected on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a big difference in a tear and a surgery. So I just want to make that clear for everybody. I also had both arms surgery. The first one I did, they hit a nerve. So that's why it was a year for me to be 100% back. The second one was like you said, it was 6 months, within I think it was 2 months, I was, back on the table and not going hard, but, starting to build up and all.
But yeah, I don't have any chronic pain or chronic issues to that would warrant stem cell therapy. So
What do you contribute that to? Is it that you started later in life with arm wrestling, or is it your training style that keeps you healthy? Because I mean, a lot of these older guys that have been pulling for a long time, you know, they all got some kind of chronic injury or pain
yeah.
going on.
I don't know, but it just might be that these other guys have been arm wrestling for 40 years and I've been arm wrestling for 20. You
Yeah.
know, it just might be that I'm halfway through, you know, I'm only halfway through the journey they're on, you know.
It reminds me, I had a question from one of the subscribers, and they wanted to know if you had to go back, would you like to have started arm wrestling earlier in your career?
Huh. I don't think so.
And is that
I
because of what
wished,
we're just
I
talking
wished
about?
when I started my career, I was younger, but I don't think I would want to start my career. I wished when I started arm wrestling in 2000, I was younger than I was, but I don't wish I started arm wrestling in 1990.
And why do you say that?
Because I started at the about perfect time. I arm wrestled for 2 or 3 years. Then they're making Pull and John. Then we're in Vegas. You know, a lot of the guys that started in the 90s didn't make any damn money until the 2000s. I started in the 2000s and we all started making money around 2004. You know, I mean, I started at like a very, very good time. So,
How long was
no,
it until you hit that elite level?
I think I beat John in Las Vegas at year 4 or year 5. You
That is
know,
amazing. Do you consider
so
that, do you consider that normal?
I think I tell people all the time, it takes about 3 years to become a national level arm wrestler in the super heavyweight class, and about 5 years if you're in the 165 class, just because the competition in the lower classes is deeper. So I think 4 years to be national level. I think that's about right. I think if someone was starting arm wrestling right now, you could probably win state level tournaments in 2 to 3 years and national and world level tournaments in 4 to 6. I think that's about right.
Now, has your training changed since 2000 till now?
Yeah, I didn't discover the West Side barbell system till about 2005 or 6. And this was before YouTube was popular. But so you could probably become a national level quicker than what I posted, because at this point, the West Side barbell system is a lot more popular. My training of like, there's the training method I do, you log your strength, you discover your weak spots, you fix them, and you just make sure your power keeps going up. Now you might shift from force to power to speed to endurance, but the strategy stays the same. You just monkey your tactics around depending on where you're weak. So, yeah. So like if I had a 13-year-old grandson or something to start training right now, he would do a lot better. If my sons in their 20s took it up, I mean, I think within 4 or 5 years they could be, close to my level now.
So what did your training look like between 2000 and 2004 to make you that?
It was a combination of all the bodybuilding shit everybody was doing and the accepted arm wrestling training that everybody else was doing. So you did, grip machines for thousands of reps. You did wrist curls for thousands of reps. Everything was volume based. No bands, no chains, no speed, no max effort. You climb rope. The more times you climb the rope, the stronger that meant you were stronger. The thinking's completely wrong, because just because I can run, if I can only run a mile, in a year from now I can run 10 miles, it doesn't mean I'm stronger. It doesn't mean my squat went up. It just means I can do more work, But so it took a while, and we weren't doing a lot of there were like arm wrestling exercise machines, but they weren't real flexible. So there wasn't a real good way of training. A lot of them were so mechanical, they hurt. Some of them actually hurt my arms when I try on them, the ones with the big wheels and stuff. So
But what
I
made you
think with what we
change
know
your
now,
training? Because you said from 2000 2004, now you're beating John Brzenk. What made you change it? I would have thought you would have just stayed on that path because it was obviously working for you. But what made you say, I got to change something? And
well, John pulled 2 weight classes and I pulled 1, and I couldn't beat John again. Well, I don't think I've ever beat John again in real life, but until we started practicing. So, just I mean, I got lucky, and by beating John that first match, that put me second at a very, very big Las Vegas area tournament. Okay. But I'm way better now than I was when I beat them, back then from 2005.
but what made you just make that change? And because I would have thought you would have said, I figured it out.
Because I'm in this powerlifting gym, South Carolina Barbell, with Mark Bartley, who's been setting world records in powerlifting, and you can see his records going up. And he sat down, he saw me screwing around. This is before we had table-based cable machine. So I'm doing side pressure work on the seated row machine. And he saw what I was doing, and he talked to me a little bit and about what I was doing. And then he explained the West Side Barbell system, where he goes, how do you know your training's working? I go, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then, he actually explained, well, I know I'm stronger because when I lifted on this day, I bench pressed 600 pounds. Now I bench press 630 pounds. I know I'm stronger. So then he explained, you do 1 rep maxes. That's your measure of strength. And then your speed day and your dynamic day and your volume day and all that other stuff support that. So now I'm clicking. So now I got numbers, and I had a really, really good arm wrestling team at the time too. The South Carolina arm wrestling team was loaded with national, the world level arm wrestlers, but a lot of them were national champs, and they were very, very serious about it. So,
now, were
I mean,
you always
I
a
got
numbers
very
guy?
lucky.
Were you always a numbers guy in life? Were you one of those that you liked figuring everything out with
Well,
math?
I was an engineer for like 12 years before I was an arm wrestler.
So when he told you this, it just clicked to you. It just made sense right away. And you were you had something to gauge and kind of put what you do for work into arm wrestling. And
Yeah. And he went into how Louis Simmons took all the Russian powerlifting books and translated them and sorted out what was working. So Louis Simmons went and benchmarked, the country that was the strongest country in the world, figured out how they got to where they were, was constantly exploring and innovating new things. And, he approached it like what we had to do as engineers, and we got to come up with new products, because every time the government changes the rules on cars, or they want the car to be faster or lighter, you got to go invent something that nobody's ever done. So there's a process that engineers and scientists go through. Well, Louis Simmons, without being an engineer, used that basic process. He benchmarked, he experimented, he tried, he took data, he analyzed it. And I go, yeah, this makes perfect sense to me.
which is pretty crazy because most arm wrestlers, I wouldn't say, are numbers kind of guy. And now you got everybody kind of getting into this. Anybody that has any of your seminar now, they're tracking their progress and all. But it's all making sense now, bro. I'm glad we got this interview and all, and I'm getting to figure it all out. This is great. Okay, now I want to talk about the next big thing. This is not going on the next East versus West. This is the one in July. And this is going to be Jerry Caderet versus Hermes Gasparini. Now, we just seen Hermes pull Levon, and he's like the first guy that made Levon work. It looks like, he really stressed his whole cardio system. Levon had to drop out the last 2 rounds. So before we get into that prediction, I just want to talk about that Levon against Hermes. What did you think of that?
Hermes is another unique, very impressive arm wrestler. I think Hermes, seeing that he was able to put such a strain on Levon's work capacity, Hermes has probably went home going, damn it, if I would have just trained for longer matches, So the interesting thing is he didn't really expose it, but there might be a little thread there for people to try to beat Levon and try to make those matches super long, which is what Devin tried to do, because Devin was training for super long matches, long holds and stuff. But it might just be a matter of the way Devin tried to stop Levon versus the way Hermes tried to stop him. This is something that people are learning. Of course, the most important person in the world is also learning this, and that's Levon. Levon's going, holy shit, my work capacity isn't quite where it needs to be. The biggest probably missed opportunity and all that would be somebody with like Jerry Cadaret's work capacity, because by the time, if Jerry ever gets a shot at Levon, it's going to be a Levon that can pull for 7-minute matches, whereas Jerry would have been better off pulling Levon before he knew he had a work capacity issue.
Now, what do you think Levon's got to do? Do you think he's got to drop a bunch of weight? Like, what does he have to do for his endurance?
What I would do is I would put him on a pretty rigorous program of isometrics. Because isometrics, you train while you're holding your breath. So it's sub-maximal work. It's near maximal work. It's all anaerobic. And that's where these big guys usually struggle. So yeah, I'd put him at like 90% 1 rep max for holds against a dead stop, not holding a weight and letting it fall, but pulling against the chain, because he's got the power, he's got the force. He just needs to apply it for a longer period of time, but with that said, the way for Hermes to be able to do that, and Hermes has the right style to attack Jerry, it's just that Jerry is so incredibly strong. Man, I just watched that Jerry versus Georgie match at East versus West, where Jerry's hand is like all the way down and almost out of the straps and probably just has fingernails on him. That was crazy.
And you got to remember, I
forgot what we're talking. Who are you at? What match are you asking me about?
Against Jerry versus Hermes. But the one thing I want to say about that is when Georgie went against Jerry, you got to remember Jerry was coming off of that shoulder injury because he was supposed to pull Hermes at that prior East versus West, and he was bench pressing some ridiculous amount, and he hurt his shoulder, and he had to pull out against Hermes. So when he came back, all he did for Georgie for that 3 months lead up was train table time. He couldn't lift, he couldn't do his normal bench press and all those heavy weight lifts or whatever, because it was flaring up his shoulder. And I got to just let everybody notice, when I seen Jerry, we do our podcast together, and he was showing me what he looked like on FaceTime, and I was straight up honest with him, and he kind of like deflated his ego. And I'm like, whoa, bro, what's up, man? You don't look as jacked as you did against Gennady. He's like, yo, what the fuck? I was like, bro, I got to be that guy that's got to be reality to you, man. You're going to get pissed at me and all, but I think you might want to just pull out of this. And he's like, no, I am not pulling out. He goes, I pulled out against Hermes. Everybody was talking shit. He goes, I got this, bro. I got this. I promise. I'm like, I'm not too confident, bro. I don't like how you look right now. And all. He's like, well, all I've been doing was table time. When he went in there, I think Georgie shocked him. He didn't expect that much power from Georgie, but I think it was just Jerry's heart that won that day, man. Because
Jerry's impressive, but a lot of guys claim table time's all you need. John Brzezink's in that camp. Crossy's in that camp. A lot of arm wrestlers think table time's all you need.
But I think it's a different style, bro. I think with Jerry, man, it's the power, bro. Because when you see how he trains, I mean, he jumps on and everything's that benching, and he's putting up 405 like 30 times. And then for him not doing that all, and I know that's like his bread and butter. And I think he definitely felt a lack in power that day. But one thing I got to say from that is it lit a fire under his ass, because now everybody's online and saying, oh, he don't deserve a match against Hermes or Levon. He's not ready. Hermes is going to kill him. So now we're about to see a fully trained up Jerry that I think that nobody's seen in a while, because he's got a fire under his ass now.
Yeah.
But with all that in context, what do you think is going to happen that day for Jerry versus Hermes?
I like Jerry for that match, but if I was going to pull Jerry, I would do what Hermes is going to do.
And what do you expect him to do?
I expect him to top roll out of it and keep, oppressor's good. As long as oppressor's hand is in front of their shoulder, they got something. You put oppressor's hand equal to their shoulder, you just try this in the gym sometime, put a weight on it, and then try to back your shoulder out. It drops almost an order of magnitude how much power you can do. Yeah. And Hermes is wicked fast. I expect that match to be the longest East versus West matches that I've seen. We're typically Jerry's matches or Devin's matches, and they're in like the 36-minute range. Hermes versus Jerry is going to be 40 plus minutes. It's going to be arguing with the refs. It's going to be ref script, back sitting down, taking a break, arguing with the ref. Foul. That wasn't a foul. Go to the tape. It's going to take National Geographic to do a documentary on that. I am not watching that match at all. I'm going to wait until somebody chops it up and clips it together and shows it to me, because Jerry's matches, when you put it up on YouTube, if there's a lot of views, it spikes to the most replayed section. There are these huge gaps in his match where nothing happens. Then there's like this much action, and then there's these big and I'm sitting there trying to click through it, because I'm trying to keep count of which side. And I'm hiring a staff, but I am not watching that match. That match is going to be terrible for TV. Nobody's going to like that.
Well, who do you think has the advantage?
Sorry, Engen. I'm going to jump over to Pradeep's channel and listen to the commentary. I will own the pay-per-view, but I ain't watching it. I'm just going to jump over and see what Pradeep says.
That's a good one. But who has the advantage the longer it goes? I would have to think that Jerry's going to have the more
I think
advantage.
Jerry does. I think Jerry, yeah, if it was an ultra marathon match, I think Jerry's got the advantage when it really goes. And those super, super fast people don't usually have a lot of endurance, but Hermes is able to get in good enough position that he's not working as hard as the other guy is. But yeah, that match is, they can run that after the event and then just tell me what the results are. I don't even need to see that.
The other thing I want to throw in there is the Dave Chafee versus Hermes. Because if I remember correctly, wasn't Dave going into the flat press with him?
Where did Dave and Hermes pull?
East versus West. Remember,
sure?
Hermes was supposed to pull, I think, somebody else, and then they got Dave at the last minute. I think Dave had like a month training only. And I actually heard not too long ago, which I just put out there, was that Dave was actually sick that weekend as well.
Hold on a second. I got my sheet right here.
Yep.
Let me put on my glasses. I got Dave Chafee versus Gennady, Dave Chafee versus Artem. Dave Chafee versus Hermes. It went 3-0.
Yep. And
Hermes won. Okay.
But it was really, Dave went into that press and it seemed like it gave Hermes some serious issues. And we got to remember,
East versus West 5.
Huh. Yeah. We got to remember that Dave had that match. I think it was only like a month or 6-7 weeks before against somebody else.
Right. That was that short note. I remember that because I was at Dave's house when Dave heard about it, but it wasn't published yet. So he couldn't tell nobody. He told me, but he couldn't tell anybody else because it wasn't else. I remember that. Yeah, he took that really short.
And then listen to this. I just found out. This was last week. I got a message in, and one of the fans was actually out to dinner with them. You know how they do the Friday night, everybody goes out to the dinner, and he was sitting next to Dave. And he said that Dave didn't touch his meal, and he heard him saying to Justin Bishop that he's been sick. He hasn't been feeling good. So I just got that in, and I was like, oh, wow, that might change things up, because everybody was just kind of looking at Hermes, putting him on this high pedestal. But I got to say, dude, we probably seen like a 70% Dave Chafee that day. He was just coming back from a match month or so before. So he's still recovering. And then he's sick that whole weekend, and he's not eating his food and all. So, I mean, we definitely didn't see 100% Dave, and that was a war. I mean, Dave almost pinned him a couple of times. I think he had him like within like a half inch of the pin, and it was all with that flop press. And when Jerry seen that, it had Jerry drooling out the mouth like, oh man, if I could get in that position, it's going to be a different outcome right there. So knowing that, does that change your thoughts on the Hermes versus?
I don't think so, because like you said, Jerry, Dave, and Hermes all learned something that day. You know?
The only thing
I mean, I like Jerry for the match. I like Jerry beating Hermes. I'm just saying that Hermes but if it goes 3-0 either way, that wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. So let me just put, what do you think is going to be ending score? You can't just say 3-0 either way. I want to anchor you down on this one.
I don't know, because it's hard to predict that. It's not like a football game or something else, you know. You just can't, because none of us have the intelligence and stuff to know. I mean, I can only tell you who's favored, and I can, you know, and most super matches aren't close anyways. Most super matches are 3-0, 3-1s. That's like a typical super match. It's a 3-2 super match is very rare. There just aren't that many of them.
I gotta say, with them too, I expect a lot of fouls. You know.
Oh, so do I. Jerry's matches are terrible to watch. They're the longest ones with the least action. And with Jerry and Hermes, geez, the worst one would be Jerry versus Devin at East First West. That match would take 72 minutes to film.
Yeah, with both of them going back and forth.
They'd have to start on Friday in order to finish on Saturday when the rest of us were done with our event.
You remember that Gennady match, man, where he had Jerry playing referee, and he's going, Angin! And then, winner! That was like one of the most classic phrases right there. I think that one stuck with it. Can we ever expect to see a rematch against Zoloff?
Ask Engin.
Okay, but you would be open to that?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a professional arm wrestler. Engin sets up my matches, and a lot of times he doesn't tell me who the opponent is for months. Okay. Engin will say, are you ready to pull this event? I go, sure. He'll give me like 3 or 4 names, and then he'll change them. And then I'll end up pulling somebody who was not in the original 3.
Wow. But that's what we love about you, brother. As promoter, you are the man to work with, man. And we really appreciate that. You make our life easy.
And all you other people, stop stealing Engin's live commentary. And Engin, put it out for free. Show them fuckers what to do. You know?
There you go. Todd came up with some great solutions, guys. I like that. Toddzilla, thank you for coming on today, brother. It's always a pleasure to have you on. And I wish you luck in your next big match against John Brzenk. I cannot wait for that one. As an arm wrestling fan, I'll definitely be tuning into that.
All right, buddy.